The picture you currently seeing is a lady named Amy. She went on a cruise. Now, if someone goes missing on a cruise, there's a couple of things that you may think of. One, she fell in the water by accident and cannot be found.
Doing search and rescue on the open ocean. You would want to do your very best to get as far away from the boat as possible. Most people are not strong enough swimmers. If you were to jump off of that boat and get too close to the boat when you hit the water, most of the time, more often than not, you're going to be pulled underneath the water, and your body is going to go right through the screws. Yeah, the screws are those big propellers that turn. Some of those ships have got 2 of them, some of them have got 4.
Once you're stranded in this water, especially if it's at nighttime, it's one of the worst ways to ever go out.
If you were to get far enough away from the boat that you could avoid the screws, it would take them a mile or more to turn around. You're looking at quite a long time that you're going to be in the water, and that's if you stay in the exact same spot that you fell in and they can easily find you. The darkness alone would probably be the most frightening thing, right up until the point where the sharks that follow these boats around find you.
Then there's 2. Someone purposely threw the person in the water and now they're stranded.
And was never seen again. She's one of more than 250 people who have disappeared from cruise ships in the last decade.
Then there's 3 just strange things happening around the cruise. And then somebody go missing.
A trio of cruise passengers missing.
Edmund Solomon, who goes by Brad, has been missing in Cozumel, Mexico since April 3rd. Brad arrived in Cozumel on Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas cruise ship. He was cruising with his wife, whose name is Mimi. Soon after getting off the ship on April 3rd, Brad went to the bathroom, but he seemed to vanish and his family never saw him come out.
Thank you for watching. Thank y'all for coming and having y'all snacks. Today is a case that some of you know about, but we're gonna dive deep into it because it's really scary, like terrifying. And you need this refreshing memory in your head because next time you go on a cruise, maybe think about this. Shout out to Corex Kitchen.
2 million followers. I'll make an OnlyFans account.
And y'all already know what I'm about to say. Go get your snacks.
I just started off in your world.
Well, Amy, she told her parents when she was on this cruise, the workers was giving her a vibe that she didn't like, making her feel very uncomfortable. And the workers was totally just creeping her out all around.
A lot of the employees and the workers on the cruise ship are all from countries and islands everywhere. Foreign countries are usually where our children go when they are kidnapped or they're so nice that it makes it so easy for our children to trust them.
She decided to loosen up a little bit by going out to the nightclub on a cruise, and that loosened her up. She's even caught on footage by a guy recording the whole thing dancing with someone. But that person filming didn't even know that this is Amy's last moments ever. And we can all see she's dancing, having a good time, smiling, enjoying herself after all the frustration she's been going through with this cruise. 1 a.m. Amy was caught walking to her room. Around this time, 1 a.m., the father also went to Amy's room. Yes, her parents were there. And the father went in her room to check up on her and she was perfectly fine. She was laying down, so he knew that she was there. Now, walking in cruises, I don't know about you, but it seems like at nighttime, walking around in cruises, the hallways, I don't think that would be a fun vibe at all. It would be very creepy. The reason why I bring this up, because 1 a.m. she's walking to her room. You don't know who's following you down the halls. You don't know who's spying on you, looking at you. It's multiple different people on cruises, and you don't know who none of them could be. Traffickers, murderers, just screwed people messed up in the head. You just never know who you may be dealing with. Long story short, the next morning when the parents went in her room, she was gone.
Been 26 years since a Virginia woman went missing while on a Caribbean cruise. The FBI says it is still investigating the mysterious disappearance of Amy Lynn Bradley.
We had noticed during dinner that the crew members were, we thought, over attentive to Amy particularly. If Amy spoke or she needed anything, these guys at breakneck speed would accommodate. And this is a mama speaking.
Previously.
They're so nice that it makes it so easy for our children to trust them.
When the parents were searching around the room, they believed this was signs of kidnappings. Why? Because her shoes was there, like all of her shoes, slippers, everything was there. Her wallet, her phone. The only thing that was missing was a cigarette and a lighter. What does that mean? She went outside to smoke, probably look at the waters that night, late.
And about that time, The band member approached Brad and said, "Sorry to hear about your sister."
How does the bass player already know that Amy's missing when the only people the Bradleys have told are the captain and head of security?
And that next morning, the boat was actually stopping because, you know, when you go on cruises, you stop at certain places and you can get off the boat and you can walk around and tour. The parents was pleading with the people, do not let anybody off this boat. We believe our daughter is kidnapped, but they didn't listen.
It's odd that somebody would have this sort of inside knowledge into potentially Amy's whereabouts. She'd only just been reported missing, and the odds that this person would know that she's missing already seems very strange.
When people are giving cues about this or talking about inside details that no one has made public yet, it should really raise some red flags.
Everybody got off the boat. So the parents thinking, what if she's in somebody's suitcase? What if she's put to sleep some way, somehow, and they taking her off the boat and leaving with her? The parents is just thinking of all types of ways that she can possibly get kidnapped. Mind you, they did rule out her falling inside of the water because she was simply terrified of the ocean. She did not like how it looked. She did not have any plans to unalive herself. When she would look out into the water, she would be feet away from the rails. This is how scared she is of the ocean. She plays no games with this water. And of course, they did do searches for her in helicopters to search the water, and they didn't find anything. And when investigators was investigating this whole thing, they believed that she was smuggled off the ship. She was kidnapped. Multiple people in the same area where the boat stopped for the tourists to get off and tour the little place. Multiple people said days later they seen her.
That's the girl I saw in Barbados.
Somebody came out and said, I seen her with a group of people and she was like asking for help. She was like, my name is Amy. Weird. Somebody else came out and said, yeah, this girl was with this guy. She was begging for help. Her name was Amy because she said, my name is Amy, help me. But the guy was grabbing her arm and taking her, but like in a nice polite way. And I didn't know what to think of it. I thought that was her boyfriend or something, but it all makes sense now. You don't think?
And they said, we saw Amy. You know, we saw her that morning, you know, early that morning. She got on the elevator with a band member.
Now let's take it back. And this is what I mean by sometimes cruises could be so scary because they believe that she was trafficked from the get-go. The minute she stepped foot on the ship, remember the workers was all creeping her out. She was telling her parents it was making her feel very uncomfortable from the beginning all the way until she vanished. But the workers are the ones that can stalk her in plain sight. They can follow her in plain sight because no matter where she goes, if she sees a worker, it's a worker. It's nothing like you can say or do. Even if you go in a ladies' restroom, you might have a worker right outside acting like he's cleaning up, watching her. So the whole time that she's on this cruise, she could have been getting watched the entire time. Not to mention what's even much more scary is it's that for her room is extra keys just in case she lose a key. Oh, here, we can give you an extra copy of your key, your room key. So that night when she was smoking, it was actually on her porch, her deck. She didn't have to go outside her room, go explore outside of the cruise to go smoke. It was right there of the balcony of her room. She didn't have to leave her room. So the person could have easily got in the room and unthinkable things could have took place. Investigators even came out and said and noted that the people who work on the ship didn't even do a full search. They only searched the main areas where a lot of people go. And about time the investigators was even able to search this cruise, it was already too late because the cruise done stopped. It did a stop.
We're exiting a cruise. One of the employees came up to me and told me that I was randomly selected to do documentation verification. So I went down with... They told me I had a warrant out for my arrest. They detained me. They walked me off of the ship. They would not give me any information, none whatsoever. I was held there against my will. My clothes were taken off. My body was touched. I'm home now. My husband was able to get a lawyer.
But of course, there's a detail that stands out that I want to tell you. Now, on cruises at times, they have it to where you can take pictures and they can browse your pictures on the walls. And let's just say you have a lot of creeps on this cruise and they all planning to traffic someone. You have all of these girls that's taking their pictures and they can just look around and see who they can traffic, and then they see that it's Amy on the wall.
According to the ship's photographer, he distinctly remembers taking multiple pictures of Amy that night and found it strange when they appeared to have gone missing. Though, when brought up with the crew, no one seems to know what happened to the photos of Amy.
After she done took her picture, all of her pictures was gone off the wall, all of them. And that was weird. And of course the ship says, we don't know. We have no idea what her pictures could have gone.
All of Amy and Brad's pictures were gone out of the gallery a few hours after they were put up. Why were Amy's pictures missing?
It makes it so terrifying because it's like, were these pictures taken just to sell her? Her pictures was the only one out of 2,000 people that was missing. And y'all remember the viral photo? The viral photo of this picture right here? It surfaced and somebody actually came out and emailed this to the parents. And the parents said this will be her. This is definitely her with her hair grown out.
According to Ivor Bradley, the investigator tasked with comparing the photo of Jazz with photos of Amy would later claim that he was so sure the woman in the photo was Amy that he would bet his career on it.
And we have no idea still to this day who that was in the picture. Weird, right? We don't know. And this is a viral photo.
Even some crew members were getting really flirty with Amy, and they had even asked her to go with them to Carlos and Charlie's, which is actually where Natalie Holloway disappeared.
Show that the remains of missing teenager Natalie Holloway may have been found.
And then that guy who she was dancing with, we don't know if he's in on it or he had anything to do with her disappearance because he looks innocent. Look how he dressed, look how he is. He looked like a casual, but you can't trust anyone. The whole thing is just creepy and weird, and you never know, or probably never knew how creepy cruise ships can actually be, but it's terrifying. It is.
If you really wanna fuck with me, bro, maybe you should come try and see.